Everybody, yeah, rock your body, yeah. Everybody, yeah, rock your body. Okay, sorry. Did anybody see what the issue was? Okay, we all saw the issue. Did you see that I saw the issue? We all saw that there was that the issue. We all saw that there was an issue. We all saw the issue. Who had it? Who said we all took issue to that issue, but those with the biggest issues that they don't even see took had the biggest issue with that little issue that they just saw. All right. Why? Because they have that little issue too, right? Shit, yeah, they do. They have that issue, that smaller issue, the one that's hard to see. They have that issue too. They just have a bigger issue with that issue than you, because they don't even think you. They don't think you. They don't think they have that issue either, because they don't. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen to them. The small issues that's hard to see doesn't happen. It happens to the ones that don't have the bigger issues that you say you don't have. Because from the outside perspective looking in, the ones that have that small issue don't have that big issue happen, because they already see that big issue happening that you have. And that you don't see that you have, and you say you don't have. You say you don't see, or you say that you see that you don't have, or you just say that you don't have, and you don't see that you have. All right, so. Okay, so you have that big issue that you don't have, right? Right? Because you don't even see that big issue. You don't even see a big issue easy to see. So you actually don't see that you have that issue at all. And you don't see that you have the little one that happens, because you haven't even gotten out of that. You haven't even seen the big issue that you have to not have it. In order for that to be left, a little issue like that, stupid lie. Oh, you are invincible. Okay. Okay, you're not left with that little issue that's hard to see what it is, right? Like, because we just seen it, right? But we didn't see what it was. You just see a small issue and you don't see an issue that you have. So you just see a small issue that somebody who doesn't have that big issue, and like they don't see it, like you see it and you say it like they don't see it too. So you actually assume that they don't see it, and that's why you have such a big issue. But also because you don't see because you don't have that issue. You say you have that bigger issue. You have a bigger issue with that. Take bigger issue with that. But you don't even see what that small issue is. Where it comes from, you see it as you see the issue. You can't hardly describe it. But even if you could, you still don't see that small issue as the issue that. You see the symptom of the issue, but you don't see that small issue, because it's hard to see what it is. It's hard to see. All right, and that small issue is you're going to see that coming up a lot from somebody who doesn't have a bigger issue anymore, because they already see those bigger issues. If you see a big issue that's easier to see, then you don't have that bigger issue anymore. If you have that bigger issue anymore, it's because you say you don't see that bigger issue. You don't have that bigger issue, is what you say. And the person that sees your bigger issue is somebody who doesn't have that bigger issue, by the fact that they see your bigger issue that you have, because they had it too and don't now because they see it. But those are big issues that are easier to see. So what they're left with after they get rid of their bigger issues are a smaller issue that we all have and that will all come up. What was that? I didn't see it. It wasn't a fly. It was an orb. They're harder to see. They're more subtle, and you're not even like up to that yet. But you have that issue, and when you see it from an outsider's, because it comes up from somebody who doesn't have a bigger issue anymore, because they're not through that to be left with that little issue coming up, right? Yep, right. Okay. So you see, I see it just as well as you, and then you see it and you take a bigger issue with it as if you don't, because it's like you don't know what it is, but you take a big issue with someone whose little issue comes up. But that's so asinine, because you know why it doesn't come up with you? Because it's so deep in you, and it's a big one, but it's so small that you can't see it. You can't even see the big one you have. If you've seen the bigger one and understood the bigger issues that you had, and confessed and faced the bigger issues that you had, that's when you wouldn't have those bigger issues anymore. And you won't even face it, you do. So how do you say you won't? See, you won't be left with that smaller issue to see. That even just as that you have it, you don't even have the big one. And to see, so you see, hold on a second. So there's an issue right there that's small that I can even hardly see right there, okay? But it was something, what was it? I don't know, something, right? Something, well, I don't know. But something, because I can't see it because it's so small. But I don't have these bigger issues because I see them. And if you don't see them, until you see those bigger issues that are easier to spot, easier to see, then you by default have them, and they're in denial. And until you do that, and then do see the big issues that you have, and address and confess that you have them and see them, then you won't have that. Then you'll see that you have that big issue. And then you won't have the big issue anymore because you see it for what it is, and you see it. So, oh God, great. Okay, and then like the person you're judging because that small issue that they have, it keeps coming up, and not for you, adding to the delusion that you don't even have any issues. But you have a big issue with their little issue that comes up. And the ironic thing is that you want to think that you don't have that because you don't see it even yet, because it doesn't even come up yet. It's not going to come up yet when these big ones are there already. You don't even see those. Seeing those ones and getting those out of the way is what gets you up to, okay, cleared that out. Now what do you have? You still have that issue, the one that you see come up with me. Why do you recognize it? You have it, you just haven't experienced it. Right? Okay, right, yeah, okay, experienced it. To start being able to look at it, but you still recognize it when it comes up, and have a bigger issue. You take a bigger issue with it than somebody else, than they do. It's a big issue. You have bigger issues. And then, so it's a hard one to see, hard one to understand. I mean, you see it, but it's hard, it's small, it's hard to see what it is, where it comes from. Understand it for, alright, so. Alright. Fucking fly, man. Where am I? Alright, so I'm just telling you. So once you can face the big issues, see the big issues, which are easier to see, to get rid of these big issues, right? Big issues. By understanding these big issues, and then you can't, and then like they're not going to come up anymore. You got rid of them. You see them now. You know. All right. So guess now, since you did have that big issue with that small issue that you can't even see, let alone the big ones. Then see how you're seeing an issue, being small and hard to tell what it is. Then that small issue starts to come up in you once you get past all those big ones. But at least you don't have a big issue. A bigger issue is this one, which is the biggest one, because it's like so hard to see, and is the bigger one. But the biggest issue is that you have that big one plus the blown up ones, the big ones, which are actually the small ones. But you have small issues that are easy to see. Right? But they're big ones because they're bigger ones because you have that one and those ones on top. So that's a big issue, right? That's a big issue. That's the bigger issue, the biggest issue. And part of that issue is you don't see that I'm still issued with the small issue. And until I can help everybody else see the big issue, the bigger issue, the blown up issue that they don't even see, they don't even see that yet. Won't face that yet, but don't even see that. And part of the thing that they don't see is they don't want to face it. They don't want to. That's a big issue. They think it's a solution, but it's kind of an issue that they don't even want to look at. They don't want to admit it. Denial, ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, but you're not helping the world because I have this small issue that you take a big issue with whenever it comes up, right? So how am I ever going to deal with my small issue that's so small I can't even see it for what it is? I see it just as much as you, whether you think you're the only one to see it or not when it happens. Part of the issue too that's real kind of a smaller one that gets way past you, but not someone like me. I can see what that is. It's that what's going on real quick is that you want to see that you're the one who sees that issue like I don't, assuming that I don't see it. But you don't see it for what it is. So you're not really helping anything. You're just like taking a big issue with that I have a little one. It's a little one, a big one. It is a big one. Maybe the biggest one. But it's the big, and it seems like the big one to you especially. But where am I at? Where did I get lost? Okay, so it's small, hard to see, right? Okay, so you see it and you don't even think, you want to think that you are the only one to see it, and like I don't. You assume. Because you want to see that. You want to say that. That's a big issue. You don't even see that. I do. You don't even think that I see that. Assume. That's the big issue right there too. So I'm just saying. It's going to come up all the time and you're going to assume that it's I have to have the big issues and you don't have any. Because you think, okay, but you have that small issue too. You have a bigger issue with that small issue because you have this bigger issue too. And that smaller issue still exists within you too. It's just that I don't have the small ones in order for that big one or the small one to be like even starting to come up now that all of that's out of the way. And now the big issue is that I can't see that small issue very clearly. It's not easy to see alone. Until all of us are willing to see the bigger issue, the big picture, that it's all of our issues. It's not my issue, it's your issue, it's our issue. You take the bigger issue with it. That means you've got bigger issues than I do. because you have the big one that I have and the smaller ones that you don't even, so you have the biggest. And as soon as you get rid of that, that's when these small ones that are hard to see are going to come up. All right, now, so I can't even get to that because I did my part in seeing the bigger ones. If I can get you to see these bigger ones and bigger, easier to see. And if you can't even see the bigger ones and easier ones to see, then that's a fucking big issue right there. All right, so seeing those big ones is being able to see that you have them, or else you don't even see those ones. So you don't even see. So what you don't see is that you have them if you don't see them, as if you see them for what they are. When you do that, then you can see a bigger, easier to see issue, and then they're gone because you can see them, you're facing them. And when everybody gets that out of the way, what you're still going to be left with is a small issue that's hard to see, right? Maybe it's just a way to look at it, because you're seeing it happen to me, even though I'm the one who's, why would that be happening to me when I see a bigger issue for what it is? And you don't, if you still have it, and if I'm from the outside looking in and see it, so okay, if I see that, then I can't have that big issue. If you can't see a big issue for what it is, that's easy to see, then you still have it, and then you still have, and you don't see it. So ignorance is bliss. You don't have any issues, you say. But still, you have a big issue with anybody's little issue that always comes up, but you can't tell me what it is. You take a big issue with it, like that's helping the issue. You're seeing it all backwards, don't you see? So you having a big issue with me, and like I'm the one, is that I don't even, because I can't even see it, because it's so small, it's hard to see. But you have that too. You won't even face the big ones, easier to see, that you have to get rid of that, to where everybody does that, to where now it's coming up in you, that, and now you see that hypocrite, that little issue, hard to tell, hard to see, is what you're left with. We're all left with to see. I'm left with until you finally, and we as a whole finally, are willing to face our big, easy ones to see, face them, and goddamn. Face them and then face them and see them, accept them, and they're easy to see, and define them and understand them, so that so for me as for anybody else, they're gone, they're out of the way, leaving us left with that one big one that's real small, hard to see, that I'm not going to be able to diagnose until I can help everybody else, like you. If you help myself, help yourself, help someone else, and help everybody else see the big, easy ones to see, so we all clearly as a whole see all these big, easy, blown up ones to see that you won't even face, which is a big issue if you won't. Ignorance and denial doesn't serve anybody, and it leaves you feeling like left in this like high and mighty position, thinking that you don't have an issue. Yet you take a huge issue with my little issue. Well, little as in hard to see, hard to tell. And yet you don't know how to help me with it at all. You just like to yell, like get angry about it, take a big issue with it. And don't understand that at all. To have a clue, to come around to thinking that it's probably because you have that issue in you too, that exists in you. So when it comes up in me, you have a big issue with it. Why? I do too, and you don't think I see that. But you take a bigger issue with you too, because you still do have a bigger issue with it too, because you have that issue just as big as I do. And the big ones that make it even bigger, because they're so big, they're easy to see, and you can't even see those, and then you're mad at me. So let's get all these easy to see ones out of the way by seeing them and helping people see them, so that all of us can get these big, easy to see issues that we have, that we say we don't see, or that we say we see that we don't have any issues. Therefore, your issues remain, because you don't even see the biggest issues. That if they're big, you can't even see those because you don't even face them. You can't see an issue big or small if you don't want to look at it, which is a big issue. Big issue. Pride. Stuff like that. So let's fucking come together, get things into perspective, and pull the mask off, pull the blinds off, and see the perspective, collective, together, not against each other, but work together to be able to see the bigger picture, to see the easier to see bigger issues, and be big enough to consider, to face the big ones, the easy ones to see, until we can understand them, so we can get them out of the way. And then watch what happens. You're gonna feel silly when you got mad at me every time you see a little issue pop up. Bound to pop up. I'm stuck with bound to pop up. A big one too, because it's a harder one to get to, because it's so small to see, and I can't see it on my own until I go at it by trying to help everybody else see the easy ones to see, the big ones, shrinking those, the bigger overall issue, down to that small one that's hard to see. And when everybody's left with just that one small one, hard to see what causes it, where it comes from, then we're all left with just that together to focus on together. And then it becomes, well, still small, hard to detect, hard to define, but still we're down to that as a whole. So that's kind of like blowing up a small issue. That's not a small issue, but small as in it's hard to see, subtle, quick, profound, hard to define, hard to defeat. A huge issue because it's hard to break, it's not as easy as just like being able to notice it and understand it, even if we understand the bigger ones, because the way I'm thinking of, God damn it, is that seeing all of our issues as our issues is part of that big issue. That's the small issue that's hard to see because it's so small. By seeing that's the challenge, is by seeing that as the goal, getting people to see that they have to face that they have issues. And why? Because they have that issue, and I guarantee you we all have that issues until we see them. And those are big issues. I mean, big, but at least they're big as in they should be easy to see if you're willing to face. So and so if you see why it's so important, then you can start to, fucking stupid ass lie, then you can start to see that the importance of facing your own issues, the big ones that you won't see that you do have, you fucking little shit, we all have, and just fucking confessing it. Like, it's not that, a big issue is not being willing to face it, and it's easy to see. So and seeing that is part of it. So if you see that, then you can say, I get it. If you can confess it, because it's pride. Like, you don't want to admit, you don't want to go from thinking that you don't have no issues. Denial is an issue. You don't have no issues, I do. It's kind of hard to go from that position to, you know what I mean? To seeing what I mean. Even if you do, and to confess it because of the pride. So that's an easy thing to see. It's a big issue, so it should be easy to see. And it's an even bigger issue if you don't even want to look at it. Maybe you should look at that. And that's everybody, though. It's not just you. Come on, man. We're together on this. I'm not against you. I'm your brother. I'm you. Just like a reflection of you. And we should all need to see it that way and get it straight. So if you take issue with me, then that means that that's proof right there, because I'm the reflection of you. You're a reflection of me. If I see that, if I understand that, then that means that you see that if we're together. I would see that if you do. I would see if you did. So I know if you see that like I do. Fucking fly. Fuck you, fly! You're fucking my train of thought up. You're gonna be a problem for me and my species and our issues. I took care of the stupid fly. Okay, so now we're together, man. We're not against each other. Let's fucking get that clear. That's an issue if you don't want to. That's a big one. Easy to see. Let's face it together. Let's get it straight. Come on. Because we're looking at shit the wrong way. We're going to see things. We're going to feel some type of way. Kind of, we're feel goddamn shitty way. That's it. We're going to have an issue with that. Hello. If you have an issue with me telling you that you have an issue, that we have issues, maybe I don't have the issue that I'm telling you have. I'm issuing it to you. Okay? If you have an issue with me telling you that, therefore you say we see clearly, if you say that like you're denying that you have that issue, well, therefore your issue remains. It's issued to you until you can issue yourself by facing and diagnosing the issue for yourself. The issue as it is. Defining the word issue as it is for what it is, as it is. Facing it as an issue for what it is. And that an issue is an issue. And that I'm not coming at you from any way that if you're not seeing for the way that it is, you should be seeing that as an issue. And seeing that you have an issue with it by thinking that I'm doing it from out of a certain place, by seeing it wrong, that's an issue. That means you have an issue with the way you're seeing what I'm saying, by how you're perceiving where I'm coming from at heart, like by saying this to you, I know it because I'm a reflection. Because I'm a reflection of you. We're a reflection of each other. So that's why it's so important to me, because I know I have an issue. And my issue depends on getting everybody else to see, the easier ones to see, which I've already seen, why I'm saying what I'm saying, so that I can get why I'm saying what I'm saying, and not by any wrong way that you are seeing, that even if I am seeing the wrong way that I'm saying it. God damn it, hold on a minute. I'm running out of breath. See, that's a really small issue that's hard to see right there if you look at it. What was it? Hard. It's really, but we all see it as an issue, and you might not think that I see it as an issue, or that I seen the issue. It's not that I didn't see the issue, it's just that I seen the issue as well as you did, but can you tell me what the issue is? Can you issue me a diagnosis, or can you just see that that's an issue and then judge me, and not see the way you're supposed to see, whether or not I'm seeing it the way I'm supposed to see it or not. And if you're not seeing things the way you're supposed to be seeing it, and not seeing that, then that's an issue in itself right there, by definition. So let's define the word issue, okay? Completely. Jesus Christ. Let's define it, because if it's an issue for you, it's an issue for me. An issue is an issue. We have the same issues. Reflection. We're a reflection of each other. I can see that. If I can see that issue and I've diagnose that issue, then I don't have that issue anymore. Maybe on some level, but I have to just see it clearly. I don't have that issue anymore. To see that to see an issue that I have, to see issues as our issues, my issues. My issue is your issue. Unless I have cleared that issue by understanding that issue, so I don't have that issue anymore. And if I don't, because I see it, it's a big one. If I see it because it's big and it's the biggest one to see, if I don't have it anymore because I defined it, well then I'm somebody who sees, I see that you don't see it that way, or maybe you do, or maybe you don't, but one way or the other, this is what has to be done in order for me to. I don't know if you see it, or if you have it or not, or say you should know that. So don't take an issue with this. If you do, I'm going to see that you don't see that as an issue. You don't see that all the issues that are there to see, that are big enough to see, in order for you to get down to the one that you do see that comes up with me, because I'm left with that one. And that's part of the issue for me. I'm stuck with that little issue that you see that you hate, and you take a big issue with when you see it, because you don't think you have that issue because it doesn't come up with you yet, because you're not left with the profound issue that's still there. The one that's small, that's harder to see, but is still big. But you take a bigger issue with it than I do, because you don't even face the bigger ones. So you have all these bigger, you have that one plus the big ones that are big because they're smaller really. But they're actually bigger, as in they're altogether they're bigger, and they're bigger at the same time, as in you can see them. You can see, like the small ones are hard to see. They're hard to tell what they are. And I'm not going to be able to get to them either. I'm left with them. My way of getting down to them, which I depend on, is by being able to help other people, and to seeing the issues that I've been able to see, the bigger issues that I've been able to see, and to see them for what they are, because they're easier to see, because they're bigger, they're not small. They're not like real quick and real like, oh. And I don't question, I don't like try to see those ones. I try to see the way to see those ones as by as seeing an issue that are everybody's issues, that are my issues, even if I don't have them personally, as an issue that we all as a whole aren't there yet to seeing them all. So my goal, my issue, is to make everybody see the issues, the big ones that they have, that I had, that I seen until I didn't have, and helping everybody else see them too, until we're all left with the one I'm stuck with now, which is kind of a curse, because ignorance is bliss, right? But you're not helping anybody but just yourself by living in bliss, and which is selfish. And it's still an exception, it's still an issue. Because it's not like you don't have an issue, because when you see my issue, the little one that I see, when it doesn't come up, it never come up for you. So when you see it come up with for me, you look at it as like, you have an issue, but okay, you take a bigger issue with it than me, because you don't think you have that. You think I just have issues. Like, this guy, you have issues, and you're disgusted by me or something. But you just haven't gotten out. You haven't even like faced the issues that you can even see when you see them. The ones that I could show you, the big ones that you should be able to see if you look at them, to find them, in order to see, for one, that's an issue. That if you don't want to face them, then you still have these big issues. You're just ignorant to them. Your ignorance is bliss. All right. So once you get that all out of the way, though, and realize the issues, and realize that we have them, we all do. They're all of ours, and you have it. I would know. You have it until you see it, until you don't have an issue with my little issue that you see, because you see it as you've gotten past those issues, right? The big ones that you could see, in order to be left with that little one for it to start to come up in you. See, that's what a hypocrite would do. Except for you won't know you're a hypocrite until you start to see the big issues for what they are, the ones you can see because they're bigger. And the little ones that are hard to see because I can't see them because the way by seeing them comes through me getting you down to now you have that little issue coming up, and now you see what a hypocrite you were or something when it starts to happen to you, right? Because now you're left with it. And trust me, you have it, or else there's no way you could relate to it, or that you could take an issue with it or recognize it when it comes up. It's just that it doesn't come up because you haven't gotten the big shit out of the way first, in order for it to start to be the one thing left to start to become an issue for you. It is an issue for me, and it will become an issue for you for reasons, because it's not as easy to let's see. Hold on. It's not as easy to something just wiped in my mind. See, that's a small issue that's hard to see what just happened, right? That issue is going to come up when you're trying to explain this shit. When you're getting through this, you're already past all. It's going to start to become an issue when you get down to it, when you come around to it, when you come up to it. Because when you're trying to look, when at first you're not going to be very good, but when you're trying to explain these issues to somebody else, the ones that you've already found out about yourself, the big ones, the easy ones to see. Okay, so it's not, so that little issue that's hard to see isn't going to even become an issue until you get to that point to where you're challenged with having to help someone see what an easy to see issue, getting them to that point. Then all of a sudden this subtle issue that's hard to spot, it's hard to define issue comes up, starts to happen. Okay, so that's like there's reasons for why that you don't even think that you see it just like anybody else, but what you don't see just like anybody else is what's causing it or what it is, right? I see it clearer than anybody else. I see it clearer than you. I recognize it clearer than anybody else. I recognize it clearer than you, and admit it, you don't know what's causing it, but you do see it and you do take issue with it when you see it. Somebody has that issue come up, which you never have come up, and you think that that's because I have issues. Even if you see it that way, that's an issue. Because it's not about like, oh, you have issues. Okay, well then what is it? Help me, doctor. Like I'm trying to do. You don't know. You have that issue because you don't know what it is. You just haven't felt it yet because you haven't even gotten past the easy ones. And ignorance is bliss, right? Yeah. But that doesn't get us anywhere. Silence gets us nowhere. Way too fast, because if you just think about it this way, that way, if I got this clear to you so far, if you're someone I did, you were never going to get to this point right here in order for you to get around to even, luckily, you know what I mean? If you did, in order for you to even ever really even perceive that you have that issue too, and it's not my issue, it's our issue, it's your issue too. You take an issue with it when you see it come up in me. Come up. And it's not gonna come up in me until I've already seen all the easy ones, the big ones, to see and gotten through those, right? And so now I'm cursed with that one because I'm cursed with with the burden of having to like get you to see the big ones, the obvious ones, or get anybody who doesn't, maybe not you, but anybody, and you'll be too if this is you, if you know what I mean. It's a burden to get people that are ignorant, and ignorance is bliss, and in denial, and seeing it all backwards, but that's an issue. Because if you're in denial, like somebody's telling, and you're like, so that's how fast it's getting. And if you ain't gonna get this now, that's how much faster that silence is gonna get you nowhere. Ignorance is bliss, but it doesn't get you anywhere. It gets you to bliss, but not forever, because as soon as that issue comes up, you take a big issue in it. Who are you helping? Not you, not me, not anyone. Maybe you're helping you by giving yourself bliss, but that's weak, and that's selfish, and that's weak, and that's an issue. And so that's the issue that I just issued to you, and it's all in the words, man. Words have deep meaning, and you have to apply them right. It's fun. It's like a word play. But trust me, that little issue that's still there is going to stay there, and it's cursed. So you're going to have to say goodbye to that bliss and be brave enough to take on that burden. And that little issue is going to be right there, the only one you have left, the hard one to see, the tough one to see, the small one. But also at the same time, the biggest one, the hardest one, because it's never going to be able to get down to until everybody gets around to getting the biggest issues established for everybody else first. And one of the issues, real quick, is that we don't see other people's issues as our issues, but they are. Think of it like that. It's a wordplay. Your issues are my issues. We have the same issues until we can only have the same issues. As in, if I have an issue, you could have that issue too. So issues are issues that people could have, and you might not think that you have them. And that's an issue, though. If anybody else has an issue that you don't have, then you have that issue. Even if you don't think it's your issue. It is your issue. Get it, you just don't get it straight. Even after you have established that issue, and so now you don't have that issue in one sense, but you still do have that issue in the sense that it's our issue. And as long as it's your issue or someone's issue, anyone's issue, it's still my issue. Because I don't have it, but you do. Until you don't have it, until everybody don't have it, it's still an issue that I have. An issue that I have that affects me. Because until I can get anybody or issue anybody that issue for them to see as an issue, for them to face that issue, for them to see that issue, to see they have that issue, to see that issue for what it is, for them to not personally be oblivious or ignorant to that issue, and to understanding it, and realizing that I'm losing my train of thought. Running out of breath. So I think you see where I'm going with that. And I forgot, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I forgot, but it's recorded. So, anyways, I'll come back around to it. What's the thing to do? Just let it go, or no, not let it go, but. So, seeing it for how it is and not seeing it for how it is and how it's supposed to be seen is an issue without us even seeing it for how we should see it together. And otherwise you're just ignorant, and ignorance is bliss, kind of. But, because you can fool yourself, but you don't see the other side of it, that it's still an issue and it affects you until we can get it around all the way for us to all be issued in the issue, and for us to be accepting enough to accept those issues, accept and discover and detect those issues and define those issues so that we can see those issues for what they are and understand them so we don't have them. But to see that we still do have them until they don't exist anymore, because nobody doesn't have them, because nobody doesn't know what they are. Until everybody knows what those issues are, so that they don't exist within anyone. So then they become a non-issue for everyone. Okay, so until then, they're still affecting us, right? They're still affecting us. Because an issue is an issue. If you have an issue, that should be my issue. And it is, by definition. Until I get that issue clarified for everyone, that issue is still a threat to me in so many ways. But that issue is still a threat to me in this way right here. That until everybody's cleared and of all these issues in all kinds of ways, in every way, all the issues together, then those issues only then do those issues not exist anymore. Because we don't have them anymore if we understand them, we see them for what they are. Like a psychiatrist, like we're all psychologists, like that's why you go to them. They don't have, well they do, but as a whole, those issues exist. Okay, and they're still affecting us in ways by anybody still having, and that being okay, because everybody should be we should be working together. I must not see it like that issue. That's an issue. Issues create issues. We need to see it for how it really is until we do all together everywhere. And see that to still see that I clearly, and for how it is and why, that I still have issues, no matter what anybody says, until nobody has any issues, until all the issues have been together as a whole, as one, reflecting upon each other all the way around. Until everybody understands any issue and every issue as they are, until those issues don't exist anymore for anyone, then they do exist, and they still exist for me, and they cause issues, and they create issues, right? Yeah, they do, in lots of ways, so many ways. And for one way, like I said, you see an issue come up like something. It's hard to define, but you see it and it comes up in me, but not, and it's really annoying to you because it doesn't come up in you, because you're not messing around where that issue even is gonna happen for you. Or you're not into where that can become an issue for you. And the issue for you, because the issue for you is bliss, being ignorant and not seeing that as an issue, or being and having a problem with hearing that or saying that being an issue, or ignorant and arrogant and what's the other one, and denial. And denial. So you saw a little issue right there. I seen it. You didn't think I seen it. I did. You didn't think I saw that one too? I did see it, but did we define it? Did we know what it is, or did you just see it and then have an issue with it silently? You ever notice how people silently are feeling like they hear disgust about it? That's a huge issue, man. They're seeing that you have the judgmental. They're seeing the issues that they obviously don't think that you can see or something. You can see that if you see that. That they don't think that you can see the issue too. And they silently think that you don't notice them judging you for an issue that they take issue with when they see it come up in you, because they don't think they have it. Because it doesn't come up in them yet. Because they still have this huge issue. And that's why they take such a huge, so they take such a huge issue with the issues that you see that happen in you, when they come up in you, when they see it happen when you do it, because they don't. That's why they have such a huge issue, and because they don't even think you see the issue, and so the ignorance and the bliss. Where's the bliss then? But the ignorance and the arrogance and the denial and the pride And all these hundreds of unseen issues that aren't even that hard to see, because they're the bigger ones, the easier ones, aren't even seen yet. For the one that you notice that hurts you the most, because it's like, what the fuck was that? Right? And you see it, and you take this huge issue with it. It angers you, irritates you. And partly because you don't think I see it too or something. You think you're like, this idiot. Idiot thinks he is. Doesn't even, he's talking all this. You can see that. You're like, that's in your... But look at all the issue there, you see what I mean? What's going on? And for all you know, well, not for all you know, but what I see, if that's like, I'm the idiot that did that, is you seeing, and what you know, and you seeing that you don't see, that I see. You don't see that I saw it. I'm seeing that you don't see that I saw it. And that's where part of all this issue's taking, and you like part of what's feeding the issue that you take with it. And you're taking a bigger issue with it than I am about it, right? Because because all in all, you have a bigger issue. The deadliest issue, the subtlest issue is going to bring up all the issue in you all at once. And this is the biggest one too, the hard one to see, even though it's small and you can't see it, so it's a small issue. And it is the biggest issue, big one, the ultimate one, the hardest one to get around to, that I don't know yet. The biggest one. Okay. It is the big one. But yours is that big because you have it too. Plus all this other huge issue on top of that, in the form of that you don't even see that you have an issue at all. You won't even say you have an issue. You won't face you have an issue. You won't accept you have an issue. You won't take that you have an issue. I tell you you have an issue, you can't even accept it. There's so much issue with all that, because it's so, like, what you're not seeing by not like accepting or seeing that is that there's a big thing that you're not seeing. Like, there's a problem hidden that you would see it if you saw that. If you could face it, you'd be able to perceive. And then if you don't perceive it, you can't perceive the huge issue, bigger issue, all the issues. Damn, God damn, so this is like a rabbit hole, but ignorance is bliss, like, right? So you don't have to like care or notice or have an idea or like face or have a clue of any issue that's unperceived that could be an issue, is a huge issue. What? I love you too. What are you doing? Huh? What? Alright, I'll be out in a minute. Yeah, I love you. Alright, so now, I don't know, I'm gonna leave it at that, but starting to get a picture, hopefully for anybody, for somebody. Don't judge me so harshly. There's a subtle enemy, a subtle issue, a big one, right? Subtle one that you aren't even like aware of because you're ignorant of completely, which is bliss. That doesn't happen to you because you're not even like, it's not going to happen to you if you're not like, if you're not like coming down to it. It doesn't start to come up until you get down to the fucking nitty gritty, until you get through all these ones. If you haven't even clarified any of the ones that you're ignoring, the ignorance, the ones that are ignoring it all, giving you the bliss, and then the big one, right? comes up and you recognize it too, because and it like dirt, it like has that effect on you where it makes you like and people don't understand that it's because that they have that issue deep down that they're way far away from coming down to. And also it just like explodes, and they're the ones that have the biggest issue without recognizing that as them taking issue harder than you, and thinking that you're an idiot or you're ignorant in your mind, like as if you assuming that you didn't notice it or something too. You know, come on, wake up! I'm almost there. It's tough, dude. It's a challenge trying to cut it off right when it gets there. But like, you are taking a bigger issue, like as just assuming that they didn't feel it or sense it too or notice it too. And but like, even though you do, can you give me the understanding of it or the diagnosis? What's gonna help me? What's gonna solve that issue? What causes that issue to happen? You don't know. You just recognize it. It manifests as an issue, but by what is beyond, like under the surface of that little tiny thing, what causes it? It's really hard to. It's not. Try. Go ahead and tell me. It's hard to tell. It's hard to see. It's so small. So it's not that I didn't see it. It's just that you took a way bigger issue with it. Partly in the fact that you see it wrong, and the way you see it is that I'm like the ignorant one that didn't notice it as well as you did or something. Just the same as you did. It's just that you took a way bigger issue to it. And it's like you're more like you look at me like you're disgusted with me because you suddenly, which is understandable, kind of, all right? Don't get me wrong. Because it is kind of like, what the okay? Because it's the deep, dark one that you don't even know exists. Okay. Now, but it's hard to tell what it is. It's hard to see what it is. It's an issue. An issue is an issue. If it's an issue, what does it mean? That you, in order to issue me that issue, doesn't do me any good unless you think I'm unaware of it. But that's an assumption. And if you're right though, and you issue me with it, that still doesn't do you any good unless you can diagnose, see in a telescope, and help and understand. Like, what causes that issue? Why is that an issue? Or not why is that an issue, but what causes it? Where did it come from? I don't know. It happens though, right? It's hard to define. That's a profound issue. That's a small issue because it's hard to see. And it's the smaller issue because you have that issue too. It's just that you have all the other issues too that you don't even see as issues. You don't even face as issues. So you have that big one, the small you can't see, big one, but can't see. On top of all the other ones that are big enough to where you should be able to see them if you look. If you had like whatever it takes to face it, to take it, and the humility, and the being humble enough, to take it from me or anybody with an open heart and really examine it with good observation and try not to be judgmental and not let that get to you. Otherwise, you take a huge issue with it, with all these thinking, judging, self-righteous, like under the surface. It's like kind of like the enemy is like, I'm schooling you, and then all of a sudden like I do that. And you don't see the ill will to it's giving you the opportunity to look at me like, oh, you're the one with the issue. And then silently scolding me. I'm just saying. So you take a bigger issue with an issue that you think you don't have, but you see me see coming up in me or something. It's just that I have less issues than you. I have smaller issues than you because I got rid of all the ones that are easy. I'm down to that one that's small. Hard to tell, hard to diagnose, hard to see, hard to understand. And I'm going through it all the time, and you don't think I take issue with it? It's an issue. And it hurts just like it did for you, except for it hurts you more. Because you all have all these other issues on top of it to make it worse, to amplify it, and for you to misjudge it, misdefine it, misinterpret it, and then like giving you all these like bad ideas and and ill-willed like spirited things like attacking and looking at me wrong instead of seeing me as a reflection, instead of seeing me and admitting humbly and confessing that since I've come around this far and this much to tell you all these things that I just said and spelled it out for you, or not for you if you already knew it, but for anybody who doesn't know it, and even you, because unless you're the one saying it, telling people the shit, which you should, these things, which you should, which we need to, which we should see as part of the issue, because we're not enemies, we're reflections. And for you to be a reflection, you need to reflect. You need to reflect the issues to each other, for each other, and get it straight, clear it up. Get rid of these issues that are surrounding the little one that I'm not come down to yet, which is still an issue for me. And that's another reason why any issue that's not even my issue anymore, because I understand it, is an issue for me if you or anybody, until everybody else clears it, because until then, we're not all down to the one that still remains, that I can confess still remains. I just don't know what it is. I know what it is. No, I don't. I just know that it happens. I know it causes. I know that something causes it. Now, what that is, I don't know. And I know enough to know that I won't know until we all shed and peel away and get clear with each other, on the same page with each other, and agree with each other, reflecting with each other, and seeing each other clearly with each other, with the way that we're supposed to see each other, how we're supposed to see each other, how we're supposed to perceive each other, how we're supposed to receive each other, and how we're supposed to understand one another, and how we're supposed to be able to understand how to understand what's going, like how to see each other, how to feel, how to misjudge, like we know better than to like you see that issue come up and to like let that, because I have an issue with it, I take issue with it too. You don't know that. You don't know that that I notice it. You don't know that which would be annoying if you thought that I was ignorant to it or something, which people will assume, but and without noticing that that's us judging each other harshly, instead of being like patient and forgiving, and not assuming, and not being ignorant enough to just take that like a side. That's how our enemy works against us, by just using what we don't know, leaving us open to assuming things and taking issue with things. Anyways, I think I'm overstating it all, but we need to just get ourselves clear with that we do have issues and why we all have issues. And once we see that, understand that that's us, everyone, me. And my issue is even if also the one that's hard to understand is just the fact that issues are issues and they exist, and even if just because I don't have a lot of them that I've clarified, so I don't have to suffer. I don't deal with them. I know how to deal with them. I know how to see them and understand them, and I know how to. What are you doing? Come on, babe. It's not. I'm trying to. Okay.
I love you.
Oh, yeah. to be able to see them clear, get it all cleared out of the way, to be able to see clear everything else cleared up, to be able to see it clearly. And then once I do that enough, or get, down to it enough, I recognize any kind of issue and hopefully that I recognize any little profound issues that's real easy on the outside when you hear it, like that one. To understand, to perceive and to take, and for it to be an issue, and for it to be annoying, or for it to be, especially if you think the person is like, especially if you think the person is like not aware of it or something too, because then like in your what does that say? That like they're being disingenuous or some shit, or you know what I mean? And it's coming from, we misdiagnosed by where it's coming from or some shit. And because it kind of points out narratively, like to us, suggests like the worst thing about it, just an indiscretion or something, or whatever it is, or like a miss, or like you kind of missed the mark or something, or whatever, or something. These things are tough. It starts to like be like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck? Like it happens to me, when it's happening to me, like right there, I was like tripping, and I'm like, I'm trying to like, and it's like the more I try to fucking get a grip on it, it just gets slipping away from me, because it's like the ultimate fucking issue that's like, it irritates everybody. It's just like the fucking way that it just isn't right or something. And I'm running out of breath or something. But it irritates the shit out of everybody, and me, and everybody. We take issue with it. Silently, or confession, or like silently, or like fucking literally, or consciously or not, but still not definitively though. Like it's not like just because we're conscious of it, or I am, and whether I am or not. But if I am conscious of it, it doesn't mean I have the definition to it. It doesn't mean I can define it. And so that's a big issue, even though it's really small. It's hard to tell. It's hard to see. And just because you don't run into that one yet yourself is only because ignorance is bliss. And you got to see that clearly. You're not really doing anybody a favor by just staying ignorant and staying away and trying to stay in bliss, because you're not gonna be able to. That issue's gonna exist forever until it doesn't. That issue's gonna exist until we can come around to the definition to it for it. And to rule it out forever. Let's not go with let's just be ignorant. And because ignorance is bliss as a whole, on a whole scale, massive scale, maybe that's the thing to do, I guess. But I don't know, but that's left after. But you don't know that one way or the other, I would say. I can't say that, but I don't know. Let's say that. Okay. And I can kind of say that because I don't know. So, if I don't know, then you should know. And if you do know, then I should know. If I don't know, you should know, or you should be telling me. You should know that I don't know. And you should tell me. All kinds of ways. All right, so So definitively, we can't define the ultimate issue. That's the small one. That's the hardest to see. But it is as small as it is, it's really dense. It's like the final, it's like, for a reason, it's like the last thing that will be figured out. And that's how we get to the tree of knowledge, the tree of life, by getting through the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And this is where it all boils down to. And we come around to the knowledge of good and evil by knowing the one from the other, which is by getting things straight. Issues is the knowledge of good and evil. Like an issue is like, if you don't, ignorance is bliss. Okay? But if we don't come around to, the reason we're here is to come around to good and evil. So we have to learn all of the knowledge of good and evil in order for us to have, to come around to the solution, come around to the ultimate and final issue, and to have it defined by having all of the big ones moved out of the way, defined and understood, not just ignored, not just ignored, defined, understood. Because still, when you define and understood, you don't have to ignore them. You can ignore them once they're all understood completely. Then that's when you can ignore them. Till then, somebody says that, like, something happens and it comes up, you're not going to ignore it. It's going to be an issue to you. Believe me or not, or tell me that I'm wrong. But so anyway, so that once you get all the issue clarified and get it all clear by facing the issues that you're not perceiving, by trying to like deny or trying not to check, not being open to hearing, to accepting, perceiving, seeing things straight, getting things clarified, definitively, to have the understanding to not take such a big issue with somebody who has an issue, or like an issue that like you see it come up, and then not taking an issue with it. Because if you don't understand it, if you understand it, you won't take such a big issue with it, right? It's not understanding the issue, which is what makes you take such a big issue with it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's right. And so once that's the knowledge of the trees that's what they call the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. So we ate of the apple and that got it started until we get to the end of it. Then we're doomed to go through the knowledge or the garden of good and evil until we've gathered up and gotten down to and really faced and clarified all these big issues that we won't face, that we remain ignorant to until we face it, until we clarified it and accepted it and got it straight for who we are and figured all that out, to get all of that out of the way, move aside for the time being until we get down to what's still left, which is still an issue that's unperceived when I'm trying to like explain just the ones that I've already explained or that I've already discovered by being open enough to facing first and accepting and collecting and perceiving and definitively the wordplay, by using the words and to look around to discover the issues that I have that are big, and the biggest ones first, the ones I can, because I can see them, because they're not small, they're big to see if I just face them and understand them, until I get down to the ones that are just like, that are causing me to make mistakes as I'm trying to explain it, which are, I don't know, it's like why did you have an issue? I don't know. See? It's so weird. You think that it's like you think that it's like something that is easy to understand, and it seems like, but it's not, because it's so small. It's hard to see. It's hard to perceive. It's like, why? What is happening right now? You don't know. We don't know. You don't know. That's evil. That's still unperceived, and it never will be perceived or defined until we can clear away all the shit that we can to get down to that, because it's still going to be there until we do. It's going to cause issues, and the issues are going to come in the form of trying to explain these things to people that we've explained to ourselves and understood to ourselves to help them. And that's when it's coming up, right? Because it's like, what the fuck is going on? Someone's fucking me up, making it unclear to me what I'm trying to say, to try to make sure that what I'm saying is clear to anybody can understand it, and not cause like me to lose credit or to lose respect, or it's causing issues, causing problems, losing attention or whatever, to stop from people being able to stop from me being able to, like it's doing right now. It's just like confusion. To stop from being able to speak it clearly, or to say it clearly, or to spell it out clearly or something. And it's not an easy one to see. And it's not gonna be, because that's just like the ultimate, or that's just like the final boss. I'm just gonna accept it. I have to accept that that's gonna happen. And the reason why it still exists is because all these issues that aren't my issues still exist, because they exist still in other people. So they are my issues, and they are the form of that issue on some level. I'm sure of it. They are the essence of that issue, and the only way to understand that issue by understanding that an issue is an issue, and it doesn't exist for me because I understand it anymore, but it still is unclear to anybody else. So it does still exist to me, and that'd be an issue for me to not perceive it that way. So hand in hand, that being true is what still leaves me with an issue that I can't define, and the only way left is for me to realize that an issue for me is an issue that you have, even if I understand it, and it's not really an issue for me in that way, but it is, until I get it out, until I get it to get people to understand it as much as I can, as best as I can, to maybe, to continue the trend until it spreads around the world, maybe. Hey, look, there's an issue right there. People are going to hear that right there, and there's like a voice inside saying that if they let that happen, then I get to be the hero or some shit like that, right? That just popped up in my head as that could become a potential issue. I didn't even perceive it right away when I was saying it, but it did pop up, and it would be ignorant of me not to fucking see that that's a possible issue. And okay, maybe how to address that? Maybe I am trying to do that. Is it an issue for you to be able to see that? Is it an issue that you see that? Is it an issue for you to be able to see it that way, but not be able to see it any other way, or to take it that way? And that's not. And for you to believe that that's what the way it is, even if that by whatever effect is what would happen or some shit, but for you to take it that way, like that, and that's why you shouldn't do that. That's why you should that'd be a huge issue, wouldn't it? But that's not what I'm. And you can go ahead and believe that that's what I'm doing, and that could be an issue, or you can believe that I don't want it. That's not what I want. I don't care. it's not going to be through me anyway. It's going to be through just doing the best I can, like somebody probably did for me to get to this point, and so on and so forth. And hopefully that just starts a trend, and then eventually it's just like I do the best I can to clarify as best I can, and then that clarifies to somebody enough to where they start to do it, and then it's just that it will eventually, through us, become clear. All of our issues will be cleared, and then I'll be able to be set free from this issue that exists, because issues exist, even if in me, and in everybody else, even the ones that I've defined, but they exist in you. And for me to not see that as an issue, for me, is on many levels an issue in itself right there, okay? So it just needs to be clarified. And once everybody gets all those issues, I might never see the day to where that issue that's made of issues itself existing in the world. But all I can do is just do the best I can and accept that it might never, maybe it never will. And then again, that's true for anybody else too, listening to it, if that's true for me. So just know that for you, or take it from me, maybe, if you will, that issue, same as me, that exists with me, is I can't hope to see it be gone in my life, within my life, unless we're like, I mean, I can't hope for that, but there'd be no point to hope for it, but that would be the goal, you know. I guess you could say hopefully that would, no, I don't want to say that. The goal would be that if we could do that, then my issue that's stuck with me, and the objective, the mission for me, is in order to get rid of it for me, I won't be set free unless I can be able to get rid of issues all together, all the way around, through and through, by this message spreading to me through this guy, and then this guy who goes viral, getting it enough, and because he's viral, spreading through him to everybody else through him, and he's the hero. But either way, the message and the issues are become like clarified through everybody, until their issues don't exist for anybody on a massive scale in any way, shape, or form. We're setting them on fire all the way across, all the way around the globe, until nobody has an issue with any of those things. And then what happens to that issue that still exists in me because I can't define it, unless through the fact that I've helped to eliminate issues all the way around the world by getting a message across, and then that making its way across until it all gets across, and then nobody has an issue. There's no issues that exist, because issues don't exist. No issue is not understood by me. No issue is not understood by me that isn't understood by anybody else either, until it's all just wiped out. How can that little whatever issue that I can't define that causes issues for me exist anymore, if any issue that I don't even have anymore doesn't exist in anybody else anymore either, because nobody has anymore? So in every way, right? Every way, there's no way for any issues to exist in me. And then what happens? See, that's the way it's gone, where it's gone. Until then, I'm going to be stuck with that issue, unless I can hopefully, unless by the grace of God, I manage to be able to do good enough to like get this power, get the power of this message to be at its maximum, to where it has the best, its most effective, or until it becomes and it is or I say it in a most effective, or I say it in the most effective way possible. Bring enough clarity to someone to where it inspires them, and they get to, or whatever, or someone already has, or blah 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 blah. I'm not trying to say that I'm like the only one. I'm just saying that it just gets it through to anybody who doesn't know it already, or to anybody who does, and then it inspires them, and maybe gives them a piece of something that they don't know. They give me a piece of something I don't know. And you see how you see how everyone starts to see things the way it is, clearly, getting things clear. And then eventually, hopefully, not hopefully, that would be by the process, me doing my best, doing the best I can and then hopefully not hopefully, but by just me doing the best I can, somebody else getting the message, getting that clear, so that they are doing the best they can, and so on and so forth. And by that process, us just all doing the best that we can, and all that we can to get that through, and get that across as best and effectively as we can, clarify as clearly as we can, so that if I'm saying this, because it's clear enough for me to be saying it, that is clear enough to anybody else be hearing it, so that they're hearing it, or so that they're saying it, because it's clear. What's clear to me is clear to them. The reason I'm saying it would be the reason that they're saying it clear as day, and then so you can see after that happened, that's the maximum thing I can do to do the best, at least get as closest I can get within my lifetime, eliminating all the issues to as much as I can, as much as I have within myself, by clarifying them, so that they're no longer an issue to me, because I'm too aware of what it is, but they are, to where they don't exist anywhere and everywhere, or anywhere through anyone, through that process, through us continuing the process. And then issues not existing within anyone as much as anybody, so they don't exist. And that's when we cross over from the knowledge of good and evil to the tree of life, or the tree of the knowledge of good and evil to the tree of life, right? Tree of life. There's no issues. Nothing left but good. Nothing left but just what the clarity. With clarity, you can't have an issue. So with no issue nowhere in anyone, no one, nowhere. Even the things that are really seem impossible they are right now to understand, the subtle ones that cause issues and shit, are nothing. There's nothing to support them anywhere, and then the clarity, those issues disappearing everywhere brings more clarity abroad, brings more clarity back around abroad, to help me to have the clarity myself, to where even a little subtle issue that I just can't define right now, that still exists, and it's a big issue, the biggest one maybe, and profoundly, like, it's super powerful, like super harsh, super, like, make that mistake and it can destroy the best freaking speech you were doing, the best speech or something. Not jinx. I mean, knock on wood, not to jinx myself. And it was a great message, but you didn't like end it well or something, and it left a bad taste on everybody's tongue or something like that. But anyway, though, so that kind of like subtle little thing, it's hard to understand why it's such a big issue, but it is. Like the final boss issue, because it's the toughest one to understand, to define where it is, where it comes from, why, where, how, made up of just the disclarity that my issue is your issue. If I don't have any issues, well, let's say that's impossible. If I don't have most of the issues that people have, or that I had once I got through the process of learning how to sort through and face my issue and discover and bring clarity to my issues and all that until they become clear, until that means that I don't have them. And so, for myself. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. Then, damn it, I hate when that happens. Well then, whatever. See, I don't know. Does anybody know where I was going with that? I challenge you to. That's good. That's part of like. What? I'm busy. I'll be there in a minute. The challenge there is, if anybody knew what I was talking about, let me know. Oh, and then I'm gonna remember. Like, okay, so those issues not a good. Ow, bag, gut, bite my tongue, fuckface, shithead. Okay, anyway. Clarifying the issue, discovering the issue, understanding the issue, and what happens to the issue. It becomes clear because you clear it. That's no longer an issue for you, except for this part, which would evade you. It still is, because if it exists in somebody else, it's still an issue for me until abroad that those issues become clear everywhere, at least those ones, to where now that issue doesn't exist anymore, at least that one, whatever that one was. Nobody is unclear of that issue anymore anywhere, let's say. Now that issue doesn't exist in anyone anywhere, so now that issue doesn't exist for me. And now that's all the issues. And then how does this subtle one exist anymore? It can't. So I think that's when we all become clear all together, all at once, all around. The final process of like what Jesus started, coming around full circle to where the issues all the way around do not. Fucking shut up. Issues don't exist in anyone, anywhere, any issue. All the issues. Okay? If I can inspire anyone to see it that way, importance of it, and then they can inspire somebody to see it that way. So I can't do it by myself. Whoever taught me as much what I got to this point couldn't have done it. Can't do it by themselves. They need me to pick up the message and get but I think the highlight of the message is that anything that was an issue until you discovered and decided against ignorance is bliss, to face it, to discover it, to clarify it, until that issue became a non-issue for me because it became clear to me, but still not clear. This is the next step part. The highlight thing is to remember that it's just because an issue doesn't exist for you anymore because you have cleared that issue. And it's not an issue for you anymore because you understand it and see it clearly for what it is now, right? And have the perception. Okay, but it still exists in the world and around until it's gone completely. That one, this one, and all of them, and we see them all for what they are. Then it's clear. Then everybody's clear of every issue, all the issues, any issue. And then they don't exist anymore for me. I think that's the main point right there. And then, see, what was that? See, where did that come from? It was an issue, kind of, right? Anyway, then, what do you have left? The tree of life, because there's no issues. An issue would be like any knowledge of good and evil. We're here to learn the knowledge of good and evil. But once we learn the knowledge of good and evil, it would be like getting to the end of that. And that's what I would imagine lead us to, perhaps, to the point to where anything that is an issue can't be an issue because we all understand it So how can that be an issue for me if I understand an issue? I'm not going to understand an issue and still have an issue, that issue, right? Clearly. So, okay, so clarifying an issue, and then getting an issue clarified and that importance of it, that the issue, it still exists. The issue is gonna exist, still exists if it exists, not if just because I understand it doesn't exist in me. Isn't it an issue for me that it exists in you? For you, it's not. That's not an issue. So there's so many ways to look at it where that makes sense. That's true. It still exists until as a whole we've evolved through and past all issues, any and all issues, identifying any and all issues for as they are for issues, which would be what? The knowledge of issues being evil, but also understanding those issues being good, issues being evil, and understanding every issue clearly as being good, and not just for myself, but everywhere and all the way around the world, to where there's no way that those issues can exist anymore, because we all understand as a whole just as well as anybody else. And then everybody's the hero. There can't be an issue of who's the hero. I don't want to be the hero. That'd be an issue. I just don't want any issues. I just want to get to heaven. I just want to serve my purpose and my part, doing what I'm supposed to do, versus rather than not doing all what I'm supposed to do, failing myself and failing everybody and failing God, or failing myself, really. Because I understand that any issue is still my issue, whether I understand the issue, so it's not an issue for me or not, until it's not an issue, period, because it's just not common knowledge. So that's the knowledge of all good and evil. Any issue that's seen as an issue for what and defined as for why and how and everything, and clarified, cleared, is the knowledge of evil, because we know that evil, the issue, and the knowledge of good, because we know we've cleared that issue, so that's not an issue anymore, because it's not like we're unaware of it. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is just ignoring a problem that is a problem. I mean, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is the source of all problems. Ignorance is the reason that we're here that we have to be here in the first place. If you look in the book of Enoch, it talks about that, I think. How in heaven, the devil told us he said, I'm God, and he had everything that's the opposite of God's knowledge, everything that God knew. The devil had all the knowledge that God had, except for the opposite. Well, God had all good and evil, but Lucifer had all, and then the third of the angels, the souls, the brand new souls that are us, had to, we had the good, but we didn't have the other. So we were just living in the good in heaven with just the good, without the threat of anything, of the bad. And as soon as we learned the bad, then we didn't know, we just had the good and the bad, and we didn't have any way for that to matter, or for it to know the difference, because there's no consequence in heaven. And so knowing the knowledge of good alone is good, but then learning the knowledge of bad too, and which one's true. They both are, right? But which one's the good one? They both are, right? Wrong. Now what you have is nothing. You don't know that. See, now what we had was no feeling, no knowledge of which one's good, which one's bad. So we didn't live we didn't have the good anymore. We had the good and the bad, which left us with nothing. So that's why we had to come here to where this is designed by the construct to give purpose to how to it's bad, how it's good, how if it's bad, that and now it's bad, and us to experience that, and if it's good through like oh, this is bad, oh okay, that's bad. So issue learned. So now we have the good. Now we know which one's good. Now we have. All right. So anyway, I'm kind of getting off track. Where am I? Where to go? Where am I at with this now? Yeah. So anyway, just at the end of it all, we're here to learn all the knowledge of good and evil through that process, and any issue that is perceived as an issue and just right and clarified is not clear just because it is to us until it's cleared to everybody, because just through it not being clear to everybody still creates an unperceived issue. Many probably unperceived issue. Your issues are my issues. My issues are your issues. So I understand my issues. I understand your issues. I understand my issues. They're not my issues anymore, except for they are until they're not your issues, because they still exist as issues. That's not an issue to me. Well, you should see that that's an issue right there. So I think I've said it enough to where I hope that it was clear enough by where I'm coming from and what the goal is and what we should be set on, why we should each individually be invested in that common goal at the end, and have our focuses on that, because the ultimate goal, the ultimate reward for that, the ultimate answer to that, and the ultimate the ultimate destination and purpose for that is that we have it clear, and that as the importance for it is that we are eliminating any issue, not just in ourselves but in everybody, and how important it is for everybody to get on board with that, to clear all the issues with everybody, so that those issues don't exist anymore. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of not just but many people, I'm pretty sure that's what their perception, anybody's perception on what the whole Bible is really all about. It could be narrowed down to, or something like that. The point, the objective, what we should all be really focusing our sights on, and seeing the higher purpose, the higher goal, and getting to that goal, and trying to eliminate any perceived issue, and seeking and finding any issues, and bringing clarity to any issues, and then spreading clarity to any issues for the purpose, and now having the reason why, because that issue still exists in the world, and if it does, it's still an issue for you. And you don't think that matters? Well, it does in unperceived ways, because things are tied together. If you don't do the best you can to eliminate somebody else's issues, that's an issue. And in so many other ways that causes issues too. And it allows for the possibility of that issue to become an issue again, or something, for you even. So my issues are your issues, my enemies are your enemies. So let's work together, because we are one, and we will win. And let's destroy our enemies together once and for all, by seeing and facing our enemies together for who and what they are, as one. And once and for all destroying them all, and once and for all getting to the end and the prophecy. That's what's going to happen anyways. Completing the prophecy and keeping our eyes on the prize. Completing the prophecy and making God proud. I can't do it without you. We can only do it together. You can't do it without me. And we can't do it alone, but we can do it together. And that's what we have to do. We have to work together, and that's the only way we can finally understand the complete goal together and complete it and get it and be done and finish it and make our Father proud. And imagine the day when we finally have it all clear and we did it together, and we get to be the ones to go back to heaven and watch ourselves, because time is out. Like the 2/3 of the angels that were up in heaven in the book of Enoch that didn't fall when God was talking to Satan, and like they had the conversation about about who's God, and they had like this debate on which one of them was God, and the devil being all smug and like having all this pride and stuff, and then just to be ultimately proven wrong when God said, okay, well, I guess since I'm your creation, then I guess that means that you're being sentenced to hell on earth by your own creation, God. Fancy that. But so Lucifer's fall fell like lightning to heaven, so how could that be if he's God? Alright, so that proves that God was God. And the 2/3 of the angels that are up there already and didn't fall or whatever are us. And we were there before that was us, but that was us too. The ones that didn't know were all fooled by Lucifer teaching us the lies. Like in the background over there, we're seeing these 2/3 of angels that were smart and wise and did know. Like you could tell that they were like they didn't have to come down because they didn't have to fall down with Lucifer. They were up there. We would probably see them in the background. But at the end of that, that's where the destination finally comes around to when we come back up. And what we'll realize then is that we're seeing ourselves from the perspective of the 2/3 of the angels or whatever, or the one. I'm thinking on this guess, but that didn't fall, and that didn't fall because, and the ones that did were seeing ourselves at the time. At that time, we were in that perspective, that point of view. We were them and seeing ourselves in the background, not in the future at the same time, but just like but that is happening at the same time. But we're just in that point of view to where we're brand new, and that's where we're going. We're bound and inevitably to come to earth and fall to earth to God. It's all part of the plan. Because we can't learn. I mean, because we couldn't know. I mean, because he just created us, and so we hadn't heard a lie. That's why the 2/3 that were there, they knew, and they didn't have to fall because they know everything. That was us after we, like at first we didn't know it was lie from, we were innocent, we didn't know it was lie, we didn't know how to tell.
Greg's gonna be back in an hour with a vegan meal.
Okay.
At 5:15, he'll be here at 5:15 with a vegan meal.
Alright, cool.
Guys, have some brownies.
Yeah! Alright. Oh, right on. Thanks, Faith. Cool. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, so it makes sense, right? And so this is, so that's, and it's funny because we'll be up there like then, and then we'll remember it. We'll be like, from that perspective, like, whoa, and like, we'll be like, we'll probably already know, but that's funny because like, we didn't realize at the time that those 2/3 of the angels that were like wise and smart and not knowing like, what the fuck? Why didn't they have to hear? I don't know. Probably not wondering that, but I just seeing them having no idea at that time that that's us. That'll be us that's us when we got back up there, right? Or when we get back up there. and then we'll be seeing ourselves and watching it all happen from that point of view. And look at the glory of God. Isn't it amazing? How like we're just seeing it worse from that both angles. He's so far above us, beyond us. So like he's like ahead of that, like he's beyond that. Like we're seeing it from like, whoa, like, remember that's us. That's trippy. We didn't know it at that time. At that time, we remember seeing it, like not knowing anything about who these angels were, not knowing, having a clue that's just us.
Don't flatter yourself.
What? Talking to me? Oh. Oh yeah, don't flatter yourself. Right. You right? Yeah, right. See, there's an issues right there. You gotta watch. See, so they're real subtle. The one when that's a good sign though. When you're down to like shit like that you're like, what you don't know what caused it. It's hard to define. Then you're not dealing with like something that's easy to find out. You're not dealing with it if you're willing to try to, and it's not easy to see. Then you pretty much clarified anything that would be easy to see if you take a look at it. So that's a sign. And so, but that's not it. So, again, it's about getting everybody to understand and getting it clear to everybody until that issue isn't even an issue, because I understand it as well as anybody else does. So gone, goodbye. And then the ones that are subtle, well, that would be the reason for why the need for, why now it's now it's understandable. No, see, it's like, wow. Now it's understandable for the need for that to be there, right? Be like what the hard, like impossible to understand or something. Like. I'm a fisherman. That's not, except for this. All right, look, I was spinning your ring and what? So the way to get rid of it is not to understand the issues not to understand the issues that you can, and then to think that that's how you're supposed to solve that one, but to be profound enough to see that those issues still exist in the world, if it's not clear to everybody else as it is for you, and you're not doing your part to see that and to make that the goal. To make that the goal, to get that all cleared out through everybody, all the way across the board. And that's when we all go back to heaven together. And I guess 2/3 of the angels that were up there is like, well, it was 1/3 that went down. So 2/3, I don't know. Maybe we all like become multiplied, or hell if I know about that part. That's gonna be I don't know everything. This is all perspective. This is all just oh, stop. This is all just my own well, not my own. This is all just my perspective that I've collected through just from either my own picking up the pieces or built on of what pieces that I collected from other people that got me set in with enough in the right direction to build. I'm trying to be as humble as I can here to make sure people understand that if anybody takes this and takes it and carries it along, they're just only doing the same thing I did, because I just took a message from other people I just took a message from people and collected it all and put it all together as much as I could, and then filled in the blank as much as I could, and came up with my things that I had to come up with on my own as much as I could. And goddamn, and I'm trying to you have to put it together yourself. Put it together as much as you can clearly as you can, and then carrying it on, passing it along or something. Anyway, so that's the point. But back around to it comes back to issues. Seeing a big issue that is easy until you can clear all the issues that you can, and then get that clear to anybody else as much as you can.
Yeah.
As much as you can, so that and then them clearing that issue and clearing it and knowing that those issues are still their issues until, and then getting that part of the message out until it's not an issue for anybody and it still is an issue for you and me and everybody until nobody has the issue, until there's no issues for anybody. Get it?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, you better got it. Got it good?
Yeah.
Okay, now. Okay, that's enough. But that's it for now, I guess. Just want to tell that little part of the story, but about the Book of Enoch. I think that's what it was about. The concept. So this isn't my other people. I mean, this has been understood by many people for a long time. I don't have hopes and I have high hopes and maybe like making it impactful enough to where we're there or we can get it across. That the main point is that you can clarify all your issues as issues until you don't have issues anymore, and except you still do unperceived by those existing issues still being issues, and everybody else, or anybody else until they're not anywhere else, everywhere else, because then they don't exist. Until they don't exist anywhere, everywhere, or at least just doing the best you can to get that message across and stressing it, making sure people see that it is still their issue, and seeing by all the reasons that that's true for you. For you watching, it's an issue for you and me.
Actually, Long Island. Oh, what do you do there?
So I'm counting on myself, and I'm counting on you, and you're counting on me, and we're all counting on each other to understand that as clearly as possible.
Ray, is this? I mean, I already have a house.
Because and how important that is, and be able to explain how important that is.
Well, we're not going anywhere. I think I'll go over to the bar
and explain that as clearly as you can. And you get that across as clearly as you can. Stress that as much as you can. So that everybody can understand what, hopefully, how it affects you and how it affects them, how it affects me, how it affects them and why. Okay? How it affects me. Okay? How it affects, no, this is a second. How it affects me. How important it is for me. Yeah, no. Yeah. How it affects me, how important it is for me. To make sure that I'm doing the best I can to eliminate these issues, not for, well, yeah, for myself, but I won't be able to eliminate these issues for myself completely until I've eliminated these issues in myself and clarified them myself as clearly as possible, and then but not stopping there. Knowing that they exist. I'm going to stress it again and again. They're still my issues if they're yours. They're still my issues if they exist. All the way. Set the bar as high as you can. They're still my issues if they exist in anybody until they're not issues for anybody, anywhere, everywhere. Everyone. I won't be satisfied and happy, completely happy, unless I am free. Unless I can succeed and being part of the process of what it takes to get to target and focus and notice and frame of mind and prioritize that issues are issues. Simplify. Issues are issues until you clarify those issues for what they are. Find them and understand them until they're not an issue for you anymore, but they still are. Even if they're not your issue, just because they exist, still, by them being an issue for anybody else, by them existing as an issue within anybody else. If everybody understands that clearly enough, that should be able to spread like fire. So that because everybody's understanding that enough to explain that enough, and everybody understands together enough, that these are still issues in ways that are hard to perceive. Which is like, that's kind of like finding that small issue is hard to see and hard to perceive, hard to define and hard to define, hard to get rid of, hard to eliminate, that still exists in you and you need to recognize. And that means that we need to go to realize that these issues do still exist and they cause an issue within you. And still, no matter how many issues you clear out, they're still a side effect of an issue going on inside of all of us until we're able to get that clear enough to everybody else so that everybody else has like the same, like, oh shit, like clarity of like the urgency and the importance, like for themselves and everybody else, which should be important to us. If it's not, that's an issue. So that none of these issues exist. Let's eliminate them. Let's get rid of them for good, once and for all the way across the board. Any issue, there ain't any issue left that exists because we all understand it clearly, that being one of them too, then we've destroyed all issues. What could be the issue there? There is no issue left anywhere. It doesn't exist anyone anywhere. If I can get that across, then not only have I solved what should be an issue to all of us, and me too, the issue that anybody has an issue, even if it doesn't affect me, it should affect me for no other reason but that it affects me that somebody else has an issue, and it should. Think about that. And not only that, but it just being an issue anywhere, not being eliminated completely with relentless, relentless and ruthless, target seek and destroy issues, not forcing, but just letting people understand that if it's an issue within anyone, once again, if it exists in anyone without being clarified, then it still exists whether you've understood that issue or not clarified, because it's an issue that you just like rest on, like, oh, it's not, oh, I'm enlightened, yay, me. Yeah, but what the fuck about everybody else? It doesn't matter to you? So it does matter. So that's shitty. That's shit. Look at the contrast. There's this, that way, and then there's the way where you're not that guy. It's just like, oh yay, I'm free. You see the difference? Fuck issues. The issue is that we need to see each other as not enemies, because any issue can be an issue for me that is an issue for anybody. So let's get that really clear. I can't stress that enough. Until those issues are gone, because I have chosen to relentlessly attack these issues as much as I can. understanding them more and more for myself. Until they're not there. I mean, until they don't exist in me anymore at all either. But so what? That's not good enough. They still exist, and they're issues, and they're enemies. They're my enemies. I'm not gonna let them just like, okay, well, we can't fuck with you, but and then go around and fuck with my brothers, anyone, anywhere, and thereby recognizing one and all as mankind for how we're supposed to see it. And if not, that's an issue. People are mistaking. Now we can see each other as brothers and sisters. Now we can see each other as truly for what we are together, who we are to each other. Because if an issue can exist in any way, then it can be my issue. If it can, and that means that that goes for anybody, everybody. That means that we're brothers. That means that we're brother and sister. Because that same issue can exist for me, can exist for you. And so that issue that is an issue for me is affecting somebody else the same way it affected me, then that's my brother. And that being clear, I'm not gonna let that issue that affected me like that, just because I wiped it out, go on to affect my brother though, and me just let it be, and not care, just because I'm free. Isn't that an issue? All right, so I'm gonna end it with that, and I hope that got through to somebody. I mean that somebody heard that. I'm sure more than somebody did. And please help me. Let's help each other. We're friends, we're family, we're brothers, we're sisters. Let's get there. Let's make our Father proud. Because that's where we started, in heaven. And look at how far we've come now. Went from those angels that were like, doo-doo-doo. Went from those angels that were like totally oblivious to one thing or the other, to being the angels that didn't fall, because 1/3 did. To being there again. It's already happened. It's already done. We're already there. It's just, we're along for the ride. This is part of the process. Right here, we're almost there. We're getting there. We must be getting there. We must be almost there.
Who's it?
I'll be right there. I'm going to go for a little walk.
Put your shoes on.
Yeah. We're almost there.
You gonna go for a little walk?
Yeah, let's get
walk out the gas.
Yeah. Faith,
Hey, come right back, okay?
Okay, Faith.
Come right back, okay?
Yeah, Faith, come on. So we need to start looking at things the right way. Me is included. That goes for us all. The right things in perspective. And we can start, then we don't miss anything to miss the fact and not realize the fact that we're not looking and seeing things right. And that means each other. We're not seeing each other for how we're supposed to see each other as brother and sister. An issue that can be an issue for anyone can be an issue for anyone. An issue that can be an issue for me is the same issue that can be an issue for anybody. So just because I clarified that for me, that was my enemy. For me to allow that issue, just because I don't have it anymore, because I clarified it for myself to exist in any one of my brothers or sisters, is an issue in itself. And so there it is. I hope that that's clear enough. Well, I think that once we get that all understood as good as we can, we'll all understand with the passion and the importance and the clarity what we're up against and who we're up against and who we are and who we're not. And that means that we're not enemies. No one. Anyone who can have an issue by not understanding that issue is anybody who has the same issue that anybody has by just not understanding it. So help each other understand your enemy, because your enemy is anybody's enemy if you let them suffer from the enemy, suffer from your enemy that you defeated. What if they don't figure it out like you did? That'd be an issue, wouldn't it? So let's get that clear. I just want to make sure that's clear. I just hope everybody understands the main part of the message. And I just hope that we let it stick. And then I hope we understand the goal, understand the clear objective to get it out there. And let's get rid of our enemies. Let's get rid of our enemy. The enemy. The enemy is still the enemy until it's not. And that can't be until we wipe it out from existence. Meaning, if I clarified it for me, then and everybody else did it too, then it doesn't exist. But until then, it's existing in somebody. So don't let what was tormenting you go on to torment anybody else, and then see each other the way we're supposed to see each other. As just somebody who can be affected by the same thing that you can be affected by. Any clarity that you can have, that anybody else can have. And that should once that sits in, we should get a clear understanding of who we are and how we're supposed to see each other. How we're supposed to see each other, and how we're supposed to treat each other, and how we're supposed to see our enemy, and how we're supposed to treat our enemy. And let's make God proud, huh? Let's get it done, huh? We can do it only together. We all can do it, and only we can all do it together. Let's get it done.